Being an artist, I see it the opposite. I'm like, all of us crazy people, we're really the normal ones.
Yeah.
And the people who don't know how to be crazy, they're the ones that are all tied up, all tight and doing crazy stuff, kill the whole family or something.
It's actually a good point though, because a lot of people see the artists like they're kooky or like they got something wrong, but honestly, they've just been conditioned to be docile and to be like sheep.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's how I see it. Being an artistic person, I just see like we're just living. Like we have the opportunity to sit on the couch and just talk crazy one day. It's okay.
So you brought a car up to the bay to get customized? Give me the details. What's up?
I bought a Porsche. This is kind of a story. So I was driving this beautiful Porsche, and I felt like, man, I feel good in life right now. I should trade my Porsche in and get a Ferrari. And I have to say, it could have been the Ferrari I got. I don't want to shit on Ferrari, the name, but I had a bad experience.
Yeah.
And all I could think about when I was driving the Ferrari was my Porsche. So I woke up one day and I got rid of the Ferrari and I got another Porsche. So the cars that I drive have to have a very minimal but specific customizing. Mm-hmm. Certain wheels, tint the windows, make the music sound a certain way. Any little accessories, maybe black this out or shine that up, whatever it is, maybe just whatever it is, just little details just to make it look customized, but then it also looks like, damn, did it come off the lot like that? I don't want it to be super customized.
Yeah.
So I have a certain style I do, and you got to take it certain places. So some of the things I do out here in the LA area, some things I do in the Bay, and it's just the things that I do to a car in the Bay, I can't find the right LA version of that, so I always got to go back home.
That's fire. Nice. Actually, we talk about this a lot because we have a Porsche SUV because we have a baby.
And I hate it.
So no, it's not. It's
we
nice.
We need to get it customized or something.
We didn't think the sound system through. How important is it for you as an artist to have a dope sound system in the car?
So important.
Well, it's always been a part of my craft. First of all, like it's always been a part of. I cannot make an album unless I'm driving a car with a dope sound system, especially when it comes time to mix it. When I'm doing my song selection, I need to know what the other people are listening to in their loud cars. I want to know that I'm giving them what they want. So now, my later years, I don't just go to the music guy and say, tear the trunk out and fill it up with woofers. I have different. I will do that, but I don't do it to every car. Sometimes if you get a nicer car, you could literally just keep that system and then you put an aftermarket woofer in. It could be a 10 or a 12. A 10 will usually do it. I don't care if you like your truck.
Yeah.
One 10-inch woofer. They probably already come with the one that fits in that little cubby hole where you stash stuff.
Yeah.
So they make them for that so you don't lose any trunk space. And then that one little woofer has its own little volume. So if you want a lot of bass, less bass, and it just blends in with your stock radio and it makes it sound really good.
I need to do that. Because the stock, the
so
stock.
that's under $1,000 all day.
Okay, do you not agree with me though? Like, I'm sure you had, when you probably had your Porsche, you had the Bose stereo, right? Because that's the way better
one. Sounds good, but not good enough.
No, but it sounds good, but that's a customization.
We don't even got that.
We don't even have that. I have like the stock, and the stock on Porsche, I'm like, dude, I love Porsche, but like, the radio is so bad, and I
car's
cry.
too expensive.
Yeah, the one when you turn the radio up really loud and it adjusts itself back down low.
Yes, and it Dude, sounds like I'm listening to songs on the radio, and it like literally sounds almost like it's like a bad mix of their song.
So you gotta replace that one.
Yeah.
You can actually keep the radio, but you gotta replace all the speakers, and you gotta.
You might need to plug us in with someone that could hook us up.
I know,
And now you're back up to maybe like a few G's will have you sounding good, but. Sometimes I go in there and I let them give me the $10,000 super. But I told this guy when I dropped the Porsche off, I'm like, I don't want that this time. I want it to sound really good. Loud is always on my agenda, but there's different kind of loud. There's loud where the bass is so loud that
it hurts.
Yeah, it's just loud. We like that. But then there's also loud where the rest of them, the vocals and the guitars or whatever, is just
where it's like surround
piercing.
sound.
So I told him this time I want a medium system. Medium, I want it to be irritating loud, but not painful loud. So.
No, so my first car ever was a Pontiac Grand Prix. It was black, and it had my dad gave it to me. It had 111,000 miles on it already.
You're laughing, but he loved that car.
Hey, it was fast. It was all right.
It was fast.
So, but this was back when you're that age, everyone wants a subwoofer, right? So I remember I couldn't get the right subwoofer for it, so I got this one. It was a 12-inch sub, and I had to put it in the trunk, and I had to strap it down with bungee cords so it didn't roll around in the trunk.
You didn't even get a box. You're supposed to mount it in a box.
Yeah. No. It was in a box, but it wouldn't. It didn't fit in very well, so I had to strap it up, make sure it didn't tip over. What was your first car?
First car that I bought was a '73 Camaro. And
That's sick. That's a sick first car.
I cleaned it up a little bit. I put a couple of 215s in the back. It was very stock. It was nothing custom about it except the music. But shortly after that, I bought my convertible Cadillac, the infamous Cadillac on the cover of my Born to Mac album.
Oh, that's dope.
I drove around that Cadillac. It was on my album cover, and I drove it every day.
And this was when you were in Oakland?
Yeah, this was a young short dog, but it was just
Did you keep any of those cars, or?
I kept that one for a really long time. I've contemplated on building a replica, but I think I'm more like a guy. I like convertible Cadillacs, so I might customize me a newer, up-to-date convertible Cadillac.
Okay. Yeah, because they don't what is there even a convertible Cadillac?
I wanted the one that was in the little prototype one that was in the Entourage movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Suicide Doors. I wanted that one.
Because that never happened. That was just for that or something.
I was waiting to buy it.
It never came out. They already had all their customers and it never came. Wait, the funniest thing. So my first car was a Mitsubishi Lancer, and
that's fast. That's fast.
It was a stock one, people try to get them hooked up to race, but I wasn't doing all that. I was taking it to my job at the Chinese restaurant and the studio.
That stock shit.
I know, right? I'm just I don't know. I'm not the biggest, I like cars, but I'm not obsessed with them like that. But the weirdest thing, this is a true story. I have reoccurring dreams about the stupid Mitsubishi Lancer all the time, and I still have it. And in my dream, I'll have nice cars parked in the driveway, and I'm nah, I'd rather take the Mitsubishi. And in the dream, I'll go take the Mitsubishi, driving it around, doing things. And people in my dreams will always be yo, girl, why are you driving this?
That's the easiest dream in the world to analyze.
What does it mean?
It's the nostalgic. You just missed those little young years of that little pocket of time.
Is
what was
that
going
what
on in your life? And
when times were simple.
You're I love my life. My life is busy, complicated, do all this stuff, but I would love to just get my little Mitsubishi and go out.
Yeah, install on the freeway.
Reminds you of when there was no pressure. You were just out kicking it. So, maybe one day you should just go rent a piece of car, a little shit, and go be invisible. I don't know.
I've thought about it. No, I've thought about getting the same car.
But what you really need to do, you want to make that dream go away, go to the fucking car lot, and when the guy tries to sell you all the upgraded shit, get it. Don't go, this guy's fucking trying to give me the $2,000 rate. Get the fucking radio. This one here has a little more hook. Get the fucking extra horsepower. Get all the shit.
No, you know what's weird about Porsche though is there's no tiers. It's just this one has the sound system and the engine, but then this one has the sunroof and the this. It's very weird.
Tell you moving forward, we need all the accessories. Just do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
So okay.
Wait, so you grew up in Oakland. What was the culture like back then? And then when you did get your first car, what was your hustle? How did you get your first car?
Oakland is extreme car culture. I had before I was a car owner, I had some really good moments as a driver because first of all, when I got that opportunity for a 16th birthday present, I kept it real simple. I didn't want to take driver's ed in school. It takes a whole semester. Mm-hmm. You got to go to class and some shit. I went to old school Sears, who had a driving program that lasted 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, be a few $100s, and you eligible for your license in a week.
Oh shit!
As opposed to my fellow students who would take a whole semester, and that was my 16th birthday present. I turned 16. I went to driving school. A week later, I had a driver's license. So my mother at the time had a nice car. She had a little brand new little Cutlass Supreme Oldsmobile. Wasn't really customized, but it was went and got the nice version, and I knew how to be just good enough to be able to borrow the car. So I was fucking up, but I used to be good when it counted, and I would get the car. I got the car fairly enough amount of time where it was a Friday, Saturday. I wasn't constricted to be home at 10 o'clock. Like I could come in like 2:30 in the morning and just say, well, I was hanging with the homies. I only messed up maybe once. I ran over a center divider and came back with a little bip in the car and tried to lie and say it happened while it was parked.
I have a good story like that too.
I'm sure you do.
Wait, I gotta tell you guys this. So this is really funny. That just reminded me, this is a good one. So my mom had an SUV, and we lived in this apartment building where like those apartment buildings where like the parking lot is like under the building and you just like go down like the little driveway in the front of it and you can like see the cars right there. So I don't know what she was doing. I think she was just like passed out or something. She worked really hard, so when she went to sleep, she would sleep. And so I was like, yo, I think it was like to get weed or something. I'm not even joking. I can't remember, but I snuck out and I was like, I'm taking the car. And because I had to back up like the hill of that little driveway, I pressed on the gas like a little too hard, and it went woo so fast that I hit a parked car on the street, right? So nothing.
You went out the driveway across the street and hit the car across the street.
Yeah, so I hit the parked car, and the funniest thing is because my mom had an SUV, nothing really happened to her car. The other car was messed up, and there happened to be a shopping cart that was just there. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do about their car, but there was like a little tiny dent on my mom's car that was like not that big. So I took the shopping cart, and I was like, okay, now let's imagine if it rolled down, like how it would hit the car.
Oh, so you're trying to stage an alibi.
CSI.
I staged it. So I took the shopping cart and I rolled it down, and I strategically put it like right where the dent was, so that when my mom came down there, she'd be like, oh man, the shopping cart rolled and like dented my car. I didn't think about the other part though. The funniest thing is that those people didn't notice the shopping cart at my mom's car, so they had just took off with their car. So my mom didn't see their car or ever know about that. Come to find out though, why was it the manager of the building's like daughter's car? And I was like, oh, she hates me already. And she was going around asking people like, hey, did you see or hear anything? She came to my door and she goes, did you see or hear anything? I was like, no. I was like, I didn't know anything.
That's what happens in those situations. You start cleaning up, and it's just one thing after the other.
I wonder if they can still come after me now. Maybe I shouldn't have told that story.
Chanel West Coast, criminal mastermind.
She might just fight you on sight, just out of all the years of like unknowing, not knowing.
Right.
No, so that's a little detail you shared, but while all the other kids were taking like 6 months to get their driver's ed done, you finessed a way to find out how you could get there faster and quicker.
So,
do you feel like that's like your approach to life? Like, do you feel like you've been strategic about the way you move?
No, I don't think it's me fast tracking anything. I just think that I'm one of those lucky people who just caught some breaks at the right time. I just kept catching waves of just like, things were just happening. And like I said, I was a young guy flossing mom's car, which is it's respectable. If your parents have a nice car, you get to borrow it. It's respectable. Any kid I can remember in that situation that was borrowing their parents' bucket, it was also cool. But if you had a parent with a nice car that let you borrow it, that was the shit. So we flossed around a little bit. And I got a little older. I think I got my Camaro when I was about 20. I got a little older, and I used to, when I first started recording, the guy who owned the label, he had a couple of Cadillacs, like back in the day, Cadillac with the Vogue tires and the spokes and stuff. And he also had a brand new Mercedes. And literally, we could drive, me and his little brother and little cousins, we could drive the Cadillacs. That was like, take the Cadillac. But every now and then he'd say, hey, run down to the store and just take the Benz. Like he was a big shot. So he would do that shit. You on a 5-minute mission, take the Benz, and shit, I'd make that 5-minute mission like 15. Been around, floss, drop the top.
If only Instagram existed.
I know, right?
Put it back up right before I get back to the house, come back in. Like, he had to know what I would do. But at the same time, I got a little flexing in before I actually, got my weight up and got my own whips and shit. So, but by the time I got my Cadillac, and you could look at it on the cover of the album, like it looked just like that when I was riding around the streets. And shit, I was ready. I was already primed and ready. I knew how to lean. There's a certain way you gotta lean, and there's certain things you gotta do in the car. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the way you wave at people, it's got to be your little signature wave. Throw a little piece, whatever it is you do, and how you tap the horn. You gotta get all that together.
But wait. So you said you were one of these people who you think is kind of lucky, but.
Mm-hmm. But that's never true. I feel
that's
like
never fully true.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that everybody thinks like, I feel like that you're just like a very optimistic person. Oh, I was just lucky. But like, I remember you told me when we did my live stream that you grew up like in music and like you had was it an uncle?
I mean, I was prepared, you know, preparation, but I'm just saying I was at the right place at the right time. So many different times. It could happen to you once. It happened to me a dozen times.
But you, like, that's the thing. It's like
you put yourself in that position.
Exactly.
Yes, and when you are prepared and end up in that position, that's when you take that position to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just meet people and like have no practice or you know what I'm saying? And then they're like, oh, this person doesn't know what the hell they're even doing. But when you are prepared and you find yourself in these right moments, that's when you really take it to the next level.
And I understand that because I would, at all times in my life, I would be paired up or lined up with people who were supposed to, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And I was like, always ready. Like, put me in front of the crowd, give me the mic, put me in the studio, in the booth. I'm gonna do something. Like, I've seen people fucking crumble in the midst of their opportunity. Like, here's your chance. And you know, like these guys right here, like. You're like, dude, film me today. And then he's filming and you look back at the footage and the footage is trembling.
Right. They already know. Especially Ghost. I'd be like losing my mind.
But I'm just saying stuff like that. Like the opportunities, they might come a lot, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
When you started your journey in music, how did you like first get into it? Like, what was your first attempts at it? How did it all start?
I came up in a hip hop era of a lot of non-activity. I got curious in the early 80s, and the only reference we had on the West Coast was listening to the early records that were coming from New York. And New York had already had a era before the early day records where it was just on no records. It was just parties.
Yeah.
And they talk about that a lot, the parties, and it was in the park, and they loved that era. And right after that, somebody heard that, somebody like Sylvia Robinson, Sugar Hill Records, and was like, we got to market this. And that's what we heard was the next version. So I started mimicking that early version of what hip hop was. And there wasn't a lot of people in the Bay doing. There was literally nobody rapping when I started rapping.
Wow.
Very few people were rapping in the early days of my career. So I don't know, man. I had something that I thought was smart at the time, and I really know how really fucking smart it was now. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but the one thing I'm not gonna do is whatever they're doing. Talking about like the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna try. I don't have any. Only reference I have is them.
Yeah.
But whatever I do, I'm not gonna rap like him or him or him or him or sound like that. And I felt like if you're gonna try to do this, at least do it your way, because so many rappers back then would have their own little sound, style, dances, whatever they did on stage. And if you copied somebody, you'll never make it.
Yeah.
Well, I heard this, and you can tell me if this is true. I heard that when you started, you would make like custom raps and songs for people, and they would like pay you for the tapes. Is that true?
Yeah, so I just embraced the city of Oakland. And I will give all credit to a New York song and a New York group artist, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, particularly Melly Mel, when they made the song The Message, don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. Yeah, so so when that song came out, he comes in rapping and he's describing life in New York. Just this is what we see, and he's describing it very detailed. And I listened to that song, I fell in love with that song, and I was like, wow, from now on, I'm just gonna rap about Oakland. And that's what started me just looking at Oakland and making songs up out of what I saw and what was happening and what people talked about and what was new, the newest slang and the what was the flyest shit to everybody, whatever it was. I just rapped about Oakland. And that pretty much led to the custom made tapes and everything. Like I came across a guy named Freddie B, who he came to our high school like 11th grade. So 10th, 11th, 12th. He came to our high school in 11th grade, and literally it was such a big deal that the day he showed up, a bunch of people came to me and was like, yeah, Freddie B is here now, and he raps better than you. Because I was like the only rapper. I had to mark the corner. I would walk around with a big boom box. I would make you listen to my songs. You know what I mean? I'd play like the hot shit that was out, and then I'd play my song. And I just blended in out, my little I forced it on everybody.
Yep.
And I played my song so much that people one day I played my song and they're like, bro, we tired of hearing your song, man. And I literally had to go make a new song because, I was wearing them out. But 11th grade, Freddie B comes up to the school. A bunch of people were like, he's better than you and this and that. And then they start betting money on we would battle because, like I said, we looking at all the New York stuff. So we go outside to battle. And I've heard this story from multiple rappers. We battled. Everybody was trying to get their money on who won the battle, but then we ended up being friends and started making songs together, ended up being a group, and that's how we started doing the customized tapes. It just selling them in the streets, and it's wild, man. It's
cool.
Really, it could be a movie, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, like
It should be.
Have you ever thought about making a movie about your life?
It's always in the works.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell you about the movie Freaky Tales that's coming out
Yes, I
soon.
can't wait.
Freaky Tales takes one of my songs. The movie's named after one of my songs, Freaky Tales.
Yeah.
But it takes a song that I made called Don't Fight the Feeling with a couple of females who we had like a little early day battle on the song. They're talking shit about me. I'm talking shit about them. They turned that song into a whole chapter in a movie, like a little story, and it's pretty dope. But when the movie comes out, there's a rapper. His name is Simba. He's from the Bay.
Oh, I know Simba. He's dope.
Simba literally plays Too Short in the movie. And,
Oh, that's sick.
and people who've seen it, because they debuted it at Sundance, people who saw it was like, was that Too Short playing Too Short? That's how good he played me.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, I gotta see how because I guess I could see a not really though.
Well,
I'm like,
no,
they really must have transformed him.
But he was playing young Short.
Right.
You gotta,
Yes.
you gotta
Right.
know. You gotta know it.
No, that's cool though. So it's already debuted at Sundance.
Yeah, it was probably I would confidently say it was the hottest movie this year that was screened at Sundance. I heard the feedback and it was definitely in the top few.
Congrats on
dope.
that. We
Yeah.
need to check that out.
And it's a really good movie. Like it never stops being interesting. It deals a lot with race, and it's a time period. So it's set in like the early 90s or the late 80s,
Yeah.
80s. And it really brings you back to that time, but it also shows you how, the racial, tension in certain situations. It's
Yeah.
You just got, it deals with everything too. There's a Spanish element, Asian, black, white, of all like types. And then it turns into a fucking action movie, and it's all these fucking action scenes, and it's like I can tell you this because there's nothing that a person without you seeing this movie. I love the way it was shot. Without you seeing it, there's nothing I could tell you that could make you realize what you're gonna see. It's
Okay.
one of those movies that you can watch it and.
I love
know-
movies like
you're
that.
I know what's gonna happen. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Promise you.
That's how Quentin Tarantino's all of his films are. It's like you don't know what the hell is gonna happen.
It's very much reminiscent of Pulp Fiction.
Okay,
Oh, I
dope.
love that.
The way they run the story.
That's
It-
hard.
Love that.
Not a copycat, but it's
Yeah.
it's that vibe.
No, I know what
Yeah,
you're
that
saying.
style.
though.
That
Yeah.
style. I know exactly what you mean.
I feel like we don't talk about it enough, but it's true. Like the late 80s, early 90s was such an influential time, like for our whole culture. I heard that you even toured a little bit with NWA. What was
Yeah.
that like?
Well, the movie that came out Straight Outta Compton was partially they showed the tour that
Yeah.
they went on, dropped the album Straight Outta Compton, went on tour. That was the Straight Outta Compton tour. I was on that tour.
Were you ever there when it was like being protested or like the backlash from like the music?
That was almost every show.
Every
It was a lot of
show?
shows. It was a lot of shows where you know, the news would cover it. A lot of cities we hit, the parents would be concerned. This was a relatively new thing, like this music that addressed gang violence and was super graphic and detailing, you know, sex and using explicit language and stuff. So I remember, you know, picket lines. Like they don't really. I don't know if they showed that in the movie, but they really had picket lines, and the news would be out there. And I remember one show where the parents were the picket line, and they were like forbidding their kids to cross the picket line. Wow. It was like a sold out show with like a lot of empty space because of the kids who couldn't defy their parents. But yeah, I mean, Easy would go do a press conference. You know, the stadiums would be sold out. I remember the wild shit that happened in Detroit with the police. They tried to arrest us quite a few times. I actually did get arrested a couple times. Damn. And the charge was always using obscene language in front of like a crowd. Like
you can get charged. Well, back then you could get charged for that.
You get handcuffed. I think I went to jail in like Columbus, Georgia, or somewhere. Like they were like, I remember, you know, the cops would surround the bus and demand the guys who did it. They would have pictures of you and shit.
That's crazy.
Well, it's actually doesn't surprise me though, because I've found like when you're doing something that maybe the community doesn't like or the police don't like or whatever, even if you're not breaking the law, it's like they find a way to arrest you, you know?
Oh yeah,
but
for
that
sure.
was, I mean, you talking about going into the states and the cities that are in like the Bible Belt of America, and they're like, this ain't now. This was 30 years ago, you know what I'm saying?
But even now, which is something I'd love to ask you, it's like I feel like there's been like a weird reverse. Like for me growing up, I feel like I was growing up in a great era of when like I was a little kid in, you know, I was born, I don't like to blast my age, but I was born 1988, you know, so I'm a 90s baby really. And I feel like growing up, I didn't know, especially growing up in LA, like I was never aware of like, you know, I hung out with a lot of black kids. You know, my friends were like, oh, watch out for the cops. And, like, I feel like they're the ones who always made me scared. Like, growing up, like, people are like, why are you so scared of the cops? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, that's what I was raised around, you know? But, like, I just feel like I never was, like, very aware, especially being here in Los Angeles, of, like, racism and stuff. Like, I had all my friends were diverse. I felt like an outcast being a little white girl at school. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like now it's a little bit weird because I feel like I think it's become a lot more, you know, because of social media. I almost feel like it's come back around in a weird way. And I don't know. I'd like to get your take on that.
It's not a comeback around. It's just actually the word you just said, media. Like the media started growing and the images started growing. And I think when you started seeing the images that were passed around on social media, that's when, you know, we started going, hey, what's going on out there? And then I think the one thing we all gotta like remember is the actual reason why George Floyd's incident was so huge is because we were all quarantined and we were all at home on social media. It was the perfect storm for you to take the time and just look at the footage. The footage had been out there for a long time. Before the footage was out there, the stories were out there. It's like, yo, you could be a little black dude and get your ass kicked on the way to the store and back, and then there's nobody to turn to because the cop is gonna say, I didn't do that. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can look at a city like where I'm from and look at how many times the Oakland Police Department had to kill a black man or did kill a black man, and look at how many times an officer was, you know, disciplined for that. Zero zilch. Every single one, even when you shoot him in the back, even when you shoot him in the unarmed, even when you shoot a kid, it's always justified. And
so really basically so you're saying you think social media just made it just extra exposed of what was still going on.
What if
very much
social media was around during Jim Crow? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, you could go to jail for life for anything. And even when probably the Midwest and the East Coast and the West Coast were integrating the cities and it started, you know, a lot of it started dying down. I moved to Georgia in 1993. As soon as I got there, it was loud and clear. Like it's just, it was still very much segregated in certain ways, and a lot of people were, when they weren't separated, they were not liking each other.
Yeah,
and just based on whatever it was. So, I also think that there's a resurgence, and I don't want to say Trump followers are racist, but I think there's a resurgence of of I can kind of wear it louder if he's the president, or I can wear it a little bit louder in the name of, of Make America Great Again. Like, some of us were thinking that when it first came out, it was like saying Make America White Again. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it just seemed that way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I also believe personally that America should embrace its racism, because those are our opinions, and that's the fucking way you were raised, and fucking be that way. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. You know what I mean? And I can promise you there's racism in every community towards other communities. It's not just white people against everybody. You go deep into other communities and they will tell you, I hate white people, or I hate black people, like, from Mexicans to blacks, whatever. And I just think that if we don't find this magical solution to make everybody love each other for what's underneath our skin, then just be who you are. Like, I'd rather know that I'm in line next to a really racist guy at 7-Eleven. I'd rather know it than to not know it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know
no,
what I
I
mean?
mean, I feel like we could talk about this subject all day, but I think for us, just to close on it, is like us growing up in Southern California, I feel like maybe we just didn't really get like how it is in other parts of the country, because for us, it's like me growing up.
This is a great example. This is a great example. So like for me, there was no doubt in my mind I could make it as a white girl rapper from where I grew up. Like all my friends supported me. I had all my black friends being like, yo, like if you keep going, you're gonna be like Pac by the time you're 20. Like I had friends really hyping me, like encouraging me. There was so much unity, diversity. I never thought for a second I'm gonna have a problem with this. I got on Rob Dyrdek's show, and this is before Big Black had come on the show as well. This is a show with all white guys, and I grew up with a very diverse group of friends. So once I got on this show, I noticed how people were treating me and acting towards me. Like it was different, right? Like as a rapper. And I'm like, whoa, this is weird. I'm like not used to this. Like I was literally getting like white people being racist to me because I'm a rapper. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait, this is so weird. Like I don't understand, And I think that like as time progressed, I realized like, oh my God, like I grew up in a really diverse place, but like the rest of the country is like not like that. And like there's places where they're really like still stuck in the past and where it is very segregated still. And so it took like being on TV and being a rapper on a show with like all white people for me to see like it was like a weird thing. Like I didn't, you know what I'm saying?
That
Like
racial hatred is something you have to learn. You can't be born with it. So when you like grow up in a certain area, like I had next door neighbors who, when I look back on it, they were probably like Samoan, but I didn't know if they were Mexican. I didn't care. I didn't know if they were, like I've hung out with multiracial kids all my life and didn't realize they were multiracial. It was just like, oh, you got straight hair, you got curly hair, you got darker skin. I didn't care. It never dawned on me till I grew up and started understanding the world and go, oh, all these differences. Like you don't notice that shit at a certain time in your life. You have these blinders on, especially if you have diverse friends. Like I always had diverse friends. I had areas I would go to where it would be predominantly this or that, but then I would have other places I went in life where it was just a mixture. And it came from playing sports. It came from being in the band. It came from, going to different schools, different types of schools. So I personally have always known really good people of all races.
Yeah.
And I've always come across really shitty people of all races.
Yep.
And I don't, like I said, I don't look at it like if you don't like me because of my color, that's a problem. I just look like you don't like me. So it's cool. Like I do like and don't like people of all races. Like I don't really pick and choose like that. Even in dating or anything, I don't really pick and choose. I gotta date a woman who's only from this race, or she's like they try to sound like light skinned and curly hair, but
you're like it's just a coincidence if you've been light skinned with curly hair.
Yeah, it's just I also see that what we call beautiful in people, it's not a freeze frame picture. You got to let that person move, walk, and talk. And that freeze frame picture that looks so good could just 2 words. And you're like, oh, they're ugly.
Yep.
Like you just see the ugly come out of them, even
Yeah.
just when the way they move and the way they just stand still. Like, oh, you're not.
I
You
feel
ain't cute.
that.
And then somebody else could be who we might say is not photogenic. And you look at the picture and you have opinions and go, I don't like this person's not attractive. Or, you know, California is very judgmental.
Yes.
And then you meet that person and go, oh my God, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, because everything they do makes you feel good and they smile and they light it up and they say the most wonderful things. It's just, I'm not for the racism. Even though I rap about what I rap about, I'm not for the sexism. I'm not about the classism.
Well, do you think that, like, and that's, you know, because it's like, I know you and I feel like you're one of the nicest people I've met in this industry, especially in hip hop. I feel like you're a very nice man to women. I see you've supported a lot of female rappers. So, like, do you think you get a lot of flack, like, for like the things you rap about? Like, do any of your homegirls who know you in real life go, why are you rapping like this? Like, you're much nicer than that in real life, you know?
I mean, I've been confronted, but at the same time, I do it very deliberately. I rap I talk shit like, a lot. And when I'm in life, I'm just me. Like, I got confronted by my mother. Mm-hmm. She read the words that I wrote and was like, what is this shit?
Oh, no.
Like, she's like, I know you didn't write this. I'm like,
You're like, I did.
but I just think that for my balance in life, I have to walk through life a certain way. Like I don't know where life would have taken me if I would have made those songs and then walked around disrespecting women. It would have been a bad journey.
Right.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would have been a terrible journey.
Yeah.
And I would have actually been pretending and stuff like that. And like, so, anytime you hear one of my songs and it's like it sounds like it's degrading women, really listen though, because it makes you laugh.
Oh, they all make you feel like you're having a good time. You know what I
And
mean?
it's a certain form of humor that I do that you can analyze me however you wish to, but that humor is what makes the songs work. And even like a song like Shake That Monkey, just the title, you're already in a good mood when you hear the title. You haven't heard the song. Like, shake That Monkey. Like, I'm ready for it.
You know, I think my favorite song of yours is Money on the Floor.
Yeah.
And like that, I feel like it's a great party song for one, but you have a point. It's like there are lines in there that you say that like it's funny. Like, you know what? I don't know
That's
why.
I mean, the gist of the song is get down on the floor and shake your booty and pick the money up. Like, if I break that out of church on Sunday, they're like, he's a bad guy. But it's a fun song.
Yeah. No, wait. And so this is my question too for you with music. Do you ever feel like that's your style of music, right? Have you ever felt like, dang, I want to make a more serious song? Or do you feel like, nah, like I'm just going to stay true to this and stay doing what I do?
I've tried to do all kind of. I write a lot of positive songs where a lot of them I don't even curse in them, and I just talk about what I see around me. I'm just absorbing my surroundings and just telling you my opinion. But I've tried to write songs like, okay, I'm gonna write a love song, and I start writing a song, and the shit comes out like, it's just like, girl, I like you because you got the best pussy. And I'm trying to do a love song and I can't fucking word it properly. So
It still comes out like a Too Short song. That's just who you are.
So, you know, I mean, I tried. I have a talent. I wrote a song one day. I haven't released it yet, and it's called Brain Surgery.
Okay.
And it's literally a song about blowjobs. And the first thing I say in this song is, suck my dick, bitch. And then never again in the song do I say suck my dick, but I describe a blowjob 1,000 different ways. It took me like days to research it. I was just trying to find every way on earth that you could say suck my dick without saying suck my dick.
Wait, you know what?
That's so funny.
I got a business idea for you.
A business idea.
All right, so especially with AI nowadays, there needs to be a Too Short filter. So you speak into it, and then it gives you the Too Short version of what you just said. I feel like that would be hilarious.
That's actually really smart.
Wow.
I love that.
Hey, we're on to something.
They would just add biatch in like every sentence.
Or you could just call me. I'll tell you what to say.
No,
I would love that. You say it and then AI spits it out in a Too Short way. That's funny.
right? That's a
Wow.
good one.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So I have to bring this up because my girlfriend Tori is super sad. I asked you about this before. She was like, because she's from, the Bay. She's from Santa Cruz, and she loves you. And she's like, I know every lyric to every Too Short song, and he always shouts out every girl's name. She's like, why hasn't he ever said Tori? She's like, I feel like he needs to shout out my name. And I remember I asked you, and you were like, no, that's also a guy's name. I was like, that's a good point. I never
she
even
also
thought
has
of
to
that.
say to herself before she starts asking for that, she has to say, what does my name rhyme with? Because in the Too Short world, Tori rhymes with Hori.
Okay, got this girl Tori. She extra hoary.
So I don't know if she was it.
That's
Just
true.
kidding, Tori. Shout out
Sorry,
to Tori.
Shout out to Tori. She's gonna love this shout out because she literally told me every time she would see me post with you or so, she's like, please ask now. And I'm like, girl, hold on, I'm gonna find the right time to ask him why he did.
Now I'm thinking of it. I got this whole name Hori Tori.
If you put it in
Let
a
me
song,
tell you her motherfucking story.
she would still love it. She'd be so honored. Oh my gosh, if I made that happen for her, that'd be great.
Wait, so you grew up in Oakland, like right during the crack epidemic, right?
I moved to Oakland in 1980. I literally spent the first 14 years in LA. A lot of people know this. And right after ninth grade, I moved to Oakland. That same year, I started rapping. I pretty much got a good taste of Oakland about 5 years before crack hit the streets. And during that period, 1980 to 85, it was like, it's hard to describe. It's like you see it in those old school movies with the Cadillacs and the colorful clothes and the custom cars and the pimps and the hoes and the street life and the churches and the preachers and everything, the families, everything, the whole thing. And it was, I've seen the same images in LA growing up, but when I got to Oakland, it was a different mixture of it. And LA is a really big city that you're not really given full access to the entire city because it's places you just can't go. Mm-hmm. And Oakland was a smaller city that, if you had a reason, you could really venture throughout the city. And I had that reason. I went and ventured throughout the city. And, it was beautiful. Like, it was beautiful from every way you looked at it. Sundays that people go down to the lake and you see the families and, you see the church folk and the folk hanging out, just, the Sunday gatherings and stuff. And when crack cocaine hit a city like Oakland, like, it didn't take long to just change the landscape because a lot of people became users. And at the same time, a lot of people became dealers. And it just changed a lot of lifestyles, like a lot, like.
So it's almost like a bomb went off and things just changed.
Yeah, it was, to a guy like me, the drug hit the streets really strong in 1985. It started creeping out in like 84. By 85, it was a thing. And I'm high school class of 84. So my age group are those guys who are like, you look at the little homie who was, little cool little kid at school. Now he's a fucking hardcore drug dealer. Yeah. Like, when did that happen? He's a killer. Like, he's a kingpin. Like, what? And then you got other people who were like, just regular old folk. And then you see them straggling along the street, strung the fuck out. And you're like, damn. And then you would see a working class like mother or father get caught up. And there's a family involved. And you like, damn, like, you don't even want to say so-and-so, you're like, your mama on crack. It sounds like a joke, but it's not when you walk in the streets at 9:30, 10 o'clock, midnight or some shit, and you see your homeboy's mama, like, it ain't cool.
Yeah.
And, it could be either parent. I think that I watched a small city like that. It was just like a cycle of, if you're a user, you just kind of get swallowed up like a fucking zombie or some shit. Then you got the dealers who could get murdered. There's a young father or son lost. You get the other people that get like fucking 15, 20, 30, even more time in jail. oh, another father son lost, you know, and then you had all these higher ups who were considered to be kingpins, and they like in Italian culture, Irish, whatever,
Yeah.
same thing. You had these guys who were gangsters, but they literally were each neighborhood's little mayor, what side of town or whatever, and a lot of stuff couldn't happen under their watch, you know, and they blocked all those kingpins away, and it just started getting wilder and wilder, and all that order kind of went away, and then chaos came, and then you had a generation of kids come up, and you'd ask them, and these were like kids who were just coming of age in the early 2000s, late 90s, like, you know, early 2000s, and you're like, yo, you're sitting in a room with 15, 20 kids, like, how many of y'all grew up with your mother and your father? Got about 2-3 hands go up. How many of y'all grew up with just, you know, with no parents in the whole room? Like, who'd you grow up with then? I grew up with my grandmother, my grandfather.
Yeah.
I grew up with my auntie. I grew up with my mama's homegirl. Like it was a lost community of the after effects of crack, like the loss. And you look at like, oh, crack dealer, put them away. Oh, crackhead, they deserve to be dead, whatever. And you don't understand that this was not something that people went out and found. This was not something that people invented. This was something that was given.
Pushed on them.
And
Straight up.
I'm right there, 1984, 18 years old, looking at it. You don't even have to tell me, like, whoa, I could go try this shit. And they said it make you feel real good. Or, whoa, I could go sell this shit. And I could see the little homies getting all the nice shit and instantly nice cars. And I'm like, you're like 19 years old, a fucking brand new BMW. Like, wouldn't that make you want to sell dope?
Yeah.
You know? So,
Well, and it took you like from 7-8 years before you actually moved from Oakland to Atlanta. So what kept you from getting too deep into the streets?
well, I was there. And I was right there. Everybody with me was right there. It was nothing else clear and present. That was the lifestyle. And at the time I started making a little bit of money, and mind you, the long version is music always saved me, always.
Yeah.
But by the time I started making a little bit of money, and I saw how I'm watching really close how you could flip money in the drug trade. So I tell a really trusted homie, like I've never been too stupid to say dumb things to the wrong person. I say it to the right person. I'm like, shit, I'm getting this money now. I should probably flip some of this shit. Like, like the fuck. Mm-hmm. And that one particular homie who's a friend of mine to this day, a really close friend, said, man, if I ever see you selling dope, I will fuck you the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, we need you to do what you do. We got this right here. You don't do what we do. Like,
Yeah.
And those guys would, I preach this to young rappers right now, and I'm like, young rap crews, I'm like, you should do this shit the right way. Like, my guys would literally, I was never like scary. I would never like run from danger, but they'd be like, hey, walk short to the car and y'all get up out of here because some shit about to happen. And they're like, just whatever you do, the logic was told to me like we need you to be that guy. We want you to be our entertainer. We get in parties. We travel around the world. We can, we got a different doors that open for us when we roll with you. If we lose you, all we got is this shit. So it's like, they used to just protect me a lot. So I was.
So it's almost like they knew you had some kind of higher purpose.
Yeah, or just, if you're a smart guy, like my guy who was saying this shit to me, he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not finna give you to the streets. Fuck that shit. Like, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, he looking at me like I'm a tool. And literally, I did play my part for the crew. I've done a lot of shit. I've had quite a few homeboys that went on tour with me and relaxed and lived a life. And back home, they were in trouble. Like, it was something that was hanging over them that they didn't want to deal with at the time. They're like, man, let me just go out here, because the streets could be stressful. Mm-hmm. And like I had a homie who was supposed to turn himself in to go to prison. And he's like, I just don't feel like it right now. Went on fucking tour, enjoyed his fucking summer, and then went and turned himself in.
This obviously is before social media, because I'm like if that was now, like, you could never do that. They'd catch you right away. They'd be like, wait, hold up. Why is this person touring?
Well, I come up in an era where, as a rapper, this is to a fault because it's a lot of things I'd like to show you, like some old footage and stuff. But if you pull that camera out around us back in the day, somebody would probably slap your camera or even slap the photographer.
Because like they don't want their face out there like that.
They like, man. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm filming some shit from you. Like, well, don't tell that motherfucker don't film me. Like, that type of shit.
Yeah.
So you got to hang around me and not film those guys.
I know. I wonder how it is like now, like even like in still in like street culture like that, where it's like everybody is constantly on their phones now. I wonder if like it's got to be an awkward thing where it's like, do you like you feel like you probably can't trust anybody because everybody's got a phone on them.
There's a very strong social media digital presence of solving crime right now.
Yeah, there is. I bet
self-incriminating, all that shit's going on. But somebody out there is smart. Somebody is sitting there with two right-hand men and like, don't point that camera at him. Don't film around. Like, somebody's living that way. Like they don't want to be out there because of the lifestyle they're living. But all I say to street life is, I don't want to be a hypocrite and be like, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, whatever you're doing, I don't care what walk of life you come from. If you're doing something,
do it right. Don't get caught. Don't get caught slipping, no matter what you're doing.
Do it with a purpose. Do it with a plan to know that I'm making this money so that I can invest this money in this, not in more crime or a cycle of things that are going to end you up in the penitentiary. Everybody in the penitentiary can agree on one thing. They don't want to be in the penitentiary.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And it's funny because I think growing up in Southern California, for anyone that doesn't know, street culture permeates through every area because...
Oh, yeah. I'm from the Valley.
Yeah. It's like you're close to it. You know what I mean? Everyone's cousins from Compton. Everyone's connected. And so you see it and you see the people that they don't take those early warning signs and then they end up getting caught up later. And then you see the people like, oh, this shit that one night, that was crazy. No, I think I need to stop doing this shit.
You gotta have a purpose, man. If you have no purpose, it's not gonna be a good ending. But you gotta strive for something. If you're a street guy, you gotta want better for your kids, or you gotta want better for your family. You can't just want money. You can't just want to hurt people. Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel about it, and I try to pass that message on that I'm a thug for life. I don't want to.
Sorry,
talk shit about nobody that ever rode that. Tupac had a tattoo to him.
Yeah.
But I'm a thug for life is not a good policy. Like, you could be like, I'm a thug for 5 years, 10 years. Like, have a plan, man. I'm serious though. Like, I'm serious. You got the best of the best criminals cleaned that money up and moved on.
No, like literally, I hate to bring up. Like, I'm a mom now, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep it as classy and mom vibes as possible, but also always staying true to who I am and telling my authentic story. And I was the oddest mix of a kid. Like, I was a kid who got good grades. I was a varsity cheerleader in orchestra, but then, like, I'd leave varsity cheer practice to go smoke a blunt and, like, rap with the homies. And, like, I had a job at the Chinese restaurant, and I was like, I'm going to take my check, go get some weed, and flip it and make more money. But I never like had these like ideas of like doing this forever. I was literally like, how am I going to get to the next level? Because mind you, I also went to school with a lot of rich kids and I was just trying to get like them to their level, And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of crazy.
Even though you walked the line like that, you could have made a wrong turn one day because weed used to be highly illegal out here.
Well, I could have.
You could have been one of those people who got a fucked up sentence.
No, but that's what
weed.
I'm saying. I could have got I'm like I said, I'm from the Valley. I'm from the suburbs, but there's a mixture of everything where I'm from. And I've got friends who...
You probably rode in the car one day with like 10,000 pills.
Oh, I've been in a lot of crazy situations. And I have a lot of friends who I've been to a lot of funerals. Like, and it's crazy to think like, damn, like, like we grew up in that type of situation where it was like, we could either go really great, somewhere really great from here, or like somewhere really bad. It was like that very middle ground where it wasn't like the hood, but it wasn't like we were living in Beverly Hills. Like, so I saw a lot of kids like, like really like drugs and street life get the best of them. And
that part
just
too,
like you, music, I feel like really took me out of that. I remember times where people like, oh, you want to come to this party? And I'm like, no, I'd rather go to the studio and make a song. And so I feel like music just kept
the hood will take some good kids come on, venture down here. Like, you might be like the good kid from somewhere, come to the hood and accidentally get your ass whipped. But you might come down to the hood and get adopted, and they like you and shit. They like you because you can, you from over there, and you kick it in, like to have fun and love the music, and brave enough to hang around the hood. And then fucking, that shit, I've seen it go bad. Mm-hmm. I've seen it, lifelong friendships where, somebody could be from the other side and you come to the hood and somebody in the hood will protect you. Like, I like little Joey, man, he cool, like whatever, and you good. For some reason you good, but then that shit could go bad. And, like I'll use the word luck, right place, right time. You say I could put myself in that position, but no, me and you both, we probably been close to some wrong place at the wrong time shit, but this is our purpose here is to pass on the message, like, get your ass on the right track.
Exactly.
Hey, so how did the two of you meet?
So
the show, right?
I actually, on Ridiculousness, I met you before that. I did like one of these, like, I think we did like one of these like festival type gigs or something, and that's where I first met you.
I know you always been a rapper.
Yes, thank you. I do know. Thank you. I love that you said that. It's funny because I met Redman and I was like, and I said to him, I said, I don't know if you know, but like I rap. And Redman goes, he put his hand on my shoulder. He goes, Chanel, everybody knows you rap. he goes, they just try to act like they don't. He goes, let me just tell you. he goes, the way that you're gonna get them to admit they know you rap. He goes, you got to keep going left. He goes, when these bitches going right, you go left. But when he said that, I was like, dang, I rap? Like, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So that makes me so happy to hear that you said you've always known I rap, because like that's how I got on TV. I literally had a MySpace music page and I would sit there adding people all day. Like literally my little message, because back then it was like unique to be a white girl rapper. Now there's like, there was like 1 every 5 people, like 1 every 5 white girls is a rapper.
So we did an event together?
Yeah, we did an event. And then, because I remember when you came to Ridiculousness, I already knew you. And I remember I was like, oh, like, what's up again,
I wish I could remember what event that
I
was.
can't remember either. I think it might have been some sort of weed festival or something. That's probably why I also don't remember.
Yeah, I did so many shows. Like, that's the worst recall I have is of concerts.
Exactly.
It just looks like a stage and a crowd. I can't remember the different shit.
So like I've done nowhere near as many gigs as you, but I've done a lot of gigs too. And like the funniest things, like sometimes I'll go to a state and I'm like, oh wait, I have been here before, like a random city, and I'm like, I didn't even remember this place. But then you see the airport and you're like, wait, I remember I went to that little bar at the airport. It's funny, like just like whenever you go back to these small towns and you're like, hold up. I remember one time we did a Swisher Sweet thing too in Atlanta.
That was like a big
it was
thing.
it was like a big performance thing. Maybe that was it actually.
No, that was later.
That was later?
No, that was later.
I feel like we just crossed paths a lot,
But Ridiculousness was the first time we met. Like,
yeah.
met.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I know you from the show. Like, I know the background. I know your background.
Thank you.
I know.
I like that. I know I did.
I've actually had to sit in the room and listen. I defend certain people. And you were on that list where if anybody ever was go, man, she be trying to rap. I'm like, nah, she really can rap. Like,
thank you.
And then I'll play something, and they're like, yeah, she all right. Like, I've had to like enlighten a few people, like, because they just want to. I don't know what it is. Like, some people just didn't want you to be a rapper. I don't know what the fuck that was.
No, I'm telling you, like, it's so. This is
you
really.
You were supposed to be the girl with the laugh on Ridiculousness. That's like, she can't rap. Like, she can rap. I'm telling you.
Thank you. No, it's like I really do think, because I was on Rob's other show first, Fantasy Factory.
Yeah, we watched that show too.
And that was the show where I said, like, Big Black wasn't on the first 2 seasons of that show. So for the first 2 seasons, it was an all white cast, all white people. I didn't even realize it, like, because obviously I'm a white person. I didn't even think like that. But like I said, I grew up with so much diversity that it wasn't until being on a show.
He was riding a skateboard to his office. Like,
no, it wasn't until I got on that show with all white people that, like, then people start leaving comments like, oh, like this little white girl thinks she's a rapper, and I was like, what? Like, what's going on? And then I realized, like, wait, they're not seeing me, like, in my group of friends, like, where I come from. They're seeing me with a group of white boys, skater white boys, and, like, maybe it wasn't connecting.
Yep, you probably, that first season or 2, you should have had a little outing with your hood homies and let them know.
It wasn't my show. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so, like, I was playing my role on, dude, Rob asked me if I wanted to, I'm not joking, he asked me if I wanted to be on the show permanently, because, like, I did one little act, like a little day of just being there for, like, a thing, and then he's like, you want to do it permanently? and I'm not joking, like that day, like I was kind of broke then. Like I was literally scrounging up like money like to go to In-N-Out, and I was like, I guess I'm down. Like I can't complain. Like I don't got money. Like this is a paying job.
A day you broke. You want a job? Yeah,
Yeah. No, because I knew, like, I had seen people do reality TV and then people like not fully take them serious with music. So I kind of knew like there's a chance I could go on the show and then maybe it'll hurt my music career. And like I was so serious about my music. I was pursuing it since I was like 15.
I don't watch a lot of TV, but for some reason, I used to watch the Fantasy Factory. I watched it.
It's a funny
It was
show.
a good show, yeah.
And the reality TV is what I really don't watch a lot of that. But I don't know, something about Rob, man. He's a genuine character.
He's really
And when
funny.
he came with ridiculousness, it literally is something that we do on our own now. He like trained us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like that show was looking for the funny social media clip before everybody's looking for it now.
Yeah.
Like they pass them around and shit, but he's still doing episodes too. It's like,
No, but I think in music is really, it's very much about the mystique, and it's very much about like the mystery of you don't know who this person is, and I feel like the fans really.
Thought they knew me from
Right,
seeing like
right.
one side of me. You know what I'm saying?
So a fan will look at someone like a Travis Scott or something, and they're like, "Oh, like it's mysterious and the music's edgy and da da da," and we don't really know anything about him. But when you see someone on reality TV, you feel like you know them.
Oh, well, also, I'm like constantly laughing and smiling, and people are like, what the fuck is your struggle? Like, why are you a rapper?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, little do they know what I've been through to get to this couch. Like,
you could struggle in life and be a party rapper.
he's like, let me think of a different angle on this right now. No, well, now, I mean, you even saw, I love that you were like, I saw your little country cover song. It wasn't country, but you know, it was like more.
That was a country song, wasn't it?
It's more like it's Teddy Swims. I covered Teddy Swims. He's kind of like a
Playing a song
soulful.
right now. It's a country song.
I guess
It's country blues. It's the blues.
it's like the blues, yeah. But no, I'm trying to experiment more with singing because like the reason I started rapping was like I didn't know how to write a song like that. Like I could sing Aretha Franklin at karaoke. I don't know how to write a song like Respect. That's like a lot of different melodies, like you know what I mean? So that's why I started rapping.
I just got back from the rodeo in Texas,
Uh-huh.
Houston, Texas. You go out there, you might want to start singing some country songs. I'm trying to tell you.
No, I wanna start doing like experimenting more. I'm just trying to experiment and see what hits, you know?
Country music has officially fused with hip hop too.
Well, I think it's become the #1 genre now, also.
Yeah.
And that's why Beyonce just came out with a country song. She saw the
No,
wave.
her whole album. She just came up with the whole album. But she even said, like, which I love, and this is something I love so much about Beyonce. She even said in her post, she goes, "This is not a country album. It's a Beyonce album." And that's how I feel about my music. Like, I rap, it's hip hop, but like, there's a little touch of pop, a little touch of rock or whatever. And I feel like it's so annoying how everybody has to be so one dimensional, and you gotta just fit this one box. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when I was growing up, I grew up on a lot of as a little kid when I didn't have a choice of what was played and it just was played for you.
Yeah.
Like early 70s type vibe. We would listen to all kind of shit. It would be on the radio. The same songs that would like pop songs would play on black radio and vice versa. And certain songs would just go in those different places. But I mean, people listen to like my music collection. They go, how the fuck do you know these songs? I'm like, these shits used to be on the radio.
Yeah.
I'll be listening to fucking rock and roll from the 70s, some all kind of shit.
Yeah.
I just know these songs from life. So, you know.
Yeah.
I'm also I'd make a rock song in a minute. I'd make a country song. I have not made a country song, but I have talked to a couple of artists who we were like, let's collaborate. But we didn't get to it, but I would do it in a minute.
I think you should.
I mean, whatever, I would do it.
And that's the type of stuff that I think is like what we need, like what you're saying, trying to figure out that thing that's going to finally unite everybody and finally make it to where it's like we don't just think about race. Like the more that I think people collab and experiment with things like music, I think that that's really genuinely what's going to finally bring everybody together. Then it's like lines are just going to be so blurred, everything will become one.
I think what's going to bring everything together in that fashion is the first generation of kids who don't listen to the people before them. Because we keep teaching them that shit. If we just don't teach them that shit, then they won't know that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think more and more, the what do they call them now? The Gen Zers.
Yeah.
They toned it down a little bit. On the, they got a little more love.
They're
don't-
all about the love. Not
And
about
then-
working, but they're definitely about
those-
love.
Those next ones that they haven't really gave an official name to yet.
What are they?
Oh, the new generation? I don't even know.
They call them the little alphas or something.
Oh, the alphas. Yeah,
They
which
just
is
went
like
back to A.
that's a big name to live up to right there.
They just had to go back to A or some shit from G
Yeah.
to A. But then they haven't decided officially what they are, but they might have a chance of not hating for no reason.
Yeah.
Like you taught that shit. Like we keep teaching that shit, and it's like I think that that it would take something very drastic to just reverse the process of hatred, racial hatred.
Yeah.
Like it's dwindling. It's still there. People get mad when you say it's not there. I don't see it, but it's dwindling. It's
Yeah.
going to. I think it's going away a little bit by each generation. But we gotta. One of us sooner or later, like when the Gen Z's the parents, somebody gotta not teach it.
Yeah.
You just gotta not teach it, and it's being taught in places where they're not progressing. They're not evolving. They're just like, I hate you because of your religion or where you from or your background or the way you look. And man, you think DNA testing would fucking help because every time we get DNA tested, we're like, I'm not that. Yeah, you brown, but it's a white guy in there. like you go in there, they're like, I go in there, they're like, yeah, you're 16% Asian.
Did you ever get yours?
No.
Okay,
but
I haven't done
I've
mine
been to
yet
my
either.
family reunion. It's every kind of person you could think of there.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm like, how are they related to us? And they break it down.
that's cool.
I feel like you should get your DNA test. I don't know why, but I feel like you might have Asian in you somewhere. I don't know why. It's in the eyes. It's in the eyes, I think. I found out I have Asian in me, and I knew it
The
based on
thing
my eyes.
is, somehow, some way, most of us are related to something else because of just the migration of humans, period.
Yeah.
And you add that in with lying ass grandparents that tell lies or that won't tell the truth. Their grandparents, they lie like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
They won't tell you shit about what happened. like your grandmother. You don't think she had a little whole phase in her at some point? You think she went straight out of high school to grandpa?
Actually, my grandma did. Rest in peace, Grandma Joyce. My grandma.
Some shit you don't know though.
Damn,
She
you're about to
literally-
be blasting your grandma?
No, she literally was like with my grandpa since they were like 16.
It's some
and,
shit you don't know. When you stick with somebody for a lot of years, there's a lot of forgiveness in there.
Yeah.
Shit happened. There's a little 5-year period. Grandma went to Chicago and became a singer.
Became a singer.
You don't know why. You want to know why you can sing?
That's so funny.
Shout out to all the hoe grandmas.
No, you want to hear if I sing? You know who
But
I'm
no,
related
grandmas
to?
that had
I'll
a
tell you.
whole phase.
Yeah.
No, you know who I'm related
Who
to?
are all these old ladies naked on the internet? What the fuck?
Would you ever go?
Who are all the women in naked pictures from the 20s?
Would you ever go
30s?
for a hot grandma?
I would definitely.
You're open to it.
I would romance for finance. So if I was super single, I'd fuck a rich old bitch just because she was a rich old bitch. Yeah, and
Romance for a finance.
but
That's catchy.
I would let her know. You know I'm only fucking your old ass because you're rich. And she would love it. What? That's supposed to happen when it's an old guy and a young girl?
Oh yeah, then it's okay, right?
Like, yeah, it's called sugar daddy. And she's like, fucking you for your money. Can I go shopping? And he's like,
Let me tell
Go
you.
shopping, baby.
I realized I was like a little naive minded when like it took me till I was like 25 and I was like, I know how much I make from TV and I can't afford that Chanel purse. I can't afford that trip to
You know your
Italy.
girlfriend's at sugar daddies?
Like it took me a while to figure out like what was like going on
you
out
thought
here.
they were on that yacht
I thought
for
every
free?
girl in LA just had like a rich dad and I'm like, no, she
Close.
doesn't.
Rich daddy.
Yeah, that rich daddy.
LA has always had I don't know about them lately, but shit, I've always known about the sugar daddy events.
There's sugar daddy events.
Oh.
Yeah, so you get on the guest list and you're like a hot chick, could be model, anything, just hot chick, and then it's all these sugar daddies to be, and they're looking for a new little mama to
So
take
it's like
care of.
matchmaking
Yeah,
for sugar
it's just
daddies
party.
and
It's just
sugar
a party.
babies.
It's a party, no guarantees.
It's like a tryout. It's like a sugar baby tryout.
You know,
That's funny.
and it's a job. You get wired a certain amount of money, you know, on schedule, and you have certain obligations to meet. And it's not you get to live your lifestyle.
Oh, so it's more formal. Like there's kind of an agreement.
Yeah, I mean it's
No, that's how a lot of
it's a
those
deal.
situations are, I think.
It's like a record deal for hoes.
I mean it's like Anna Nicole, R.I.P. Anna Nicole Smith.
I love her.
All she had to do was go to his bed. He was bedridden and just dangled them titties over the side of the bed, and he left her all the money.
No, wait,
like-
did she not get it? Or
I think so. She got sued and it didn't end
I
well.
don't think it might have all ended up because she passed away and then her son passed away or something. There's a little baby left. That little baby got something coming to it, something.
Yeah.
But
I think so. I'm
but
not sure.
even if she didn't get it, just the fact that
Yeah.
this man lived a whole life, had all these kids or whoever, family and shit, and these big old titties just dangled him in his last years. He was like, of all I did, fuck my oldest son, my whoever, fuck that motherfucker. He's sitting over there waiting on him to die so they can get the inheritance. I'm leaving this money, these titties. And I mean, those titties probably did him like, he's a really wealthy man. And he's on his last days, like, how do you want to go out? He's like, how I want to go out with my kids lurking over me, waiting for me to die, or with some
Suffocating some titties.
hey, just hey.
Do you think he died mid motorboat?
That was his choice. I had a homeboy. I don't know if I should tell this story, but I'll tell it quick.
We can
quick
edit
Hey,
it
let's
out.
go
if
a
for
quick
it.
needed.
version. He must have knew he was gonna pass away. He was about to die in a matter of like within the hour, and he told his wife to put his hand on her pussy,
How'd you hear this story?
and that's how he went out. But he was a pervert his whole life. He was, you know.
That is so funny.
I mean, I admire that. Like, I'm like, I wish I had the presence of mind that within the hour I'm gonna pass away. Just give me one more time. One more time. Let me touch that.
I don't know why I feel like that could be a funny like acting theme in a music video for you. Like you should say something about like be the player till the day you die.
You
And
gotta
then
have
that's
something
a
to take to
song.
the afterlife with you. You gotta know what you want.
Yeah, like whatever you're holding at the time comes with you. You know?
Put a blunt in my hand. So, you know, whatever you want. Whatever you want.
whatever you're touching when you
A
die.
warrior wants a sword. You know, a samurai can put my sword in my hand.
Wait, that's so funny.
That's what the Egyptians believed. You know that? That's
whatever
why.
you're touching when you die like goes with you in the afterlife.
Well, that's why
right?
they bury
Whatever
him in
they
those
bury you with.
tombs. And
The
yeah,
Vikings
so,
did that too. A lot of people did that.
all right. So on that note, when you pass away, assuming that's true, what are like the couple essential items that you would need?
to take to the afterlife.
That's real hypothetical, and you know that is the one thing that we all just. That is crazy about life that we have no reference to what happens when you die. Like,
I know.
because
It's wild.
we all scared and shit. It might be the best shit ever. Like we don't even know.
Well, have you seen the documentary Afterlife?
I have not seen it, but I've seen the.
Well, no.
No. Okay. Oh, what we were
But I
watching.
subscribe to the energy. I feel like this universe, however real it is, because it could be the Matrix, but whatever it is, still energy. And it's just a transfer. Like it just, I don't know where it goes, but you got to die to find out. So
I believe in reincarnation.
it could be a transfer of energy.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know if I need a fucking sword with me. I don't know.
Well, Afterlife is a documentary where they basically recorded the experiences of people who had near-death
Yeah,
experiences.
yeah.
And
It's pretty crazy.
Apparently, and it's very compelling. You almost have to believe it. And apparently, it's a very pleasant and kind of euphoric and
Everybody has the same story. That made me be like, okay, this is real, you know?
Yeah, it's a very how do you say, just a very compelling experience that they're almost going to a better place and that they all say the same thing, and then they end up being dropped back to the real world, and then they're actually like, fuck, I don't want
I
to be
want to
here
go
anymore.
back in. So
Yeah.
compare that or combine that with people's DMT experiences. And they all tell similar stories. And they fucking just take this drug that Native Americans took and people around the world took, and
Like the ayahuasca or whatever.
yeah, and you fucking experience similar things, which is like understanding of life, and you traveling across the fucking universe and shit, and sitting down with aliens, getting taught shit, and you have a life's experience, and you come back and they go, "Oh, you was just out for 6 minutes." Like what?
Yeah, that's the trip.
There is something very other spiritual, other dimension, something other, but I just don't know if I need a knife to go there with me.
Well, what about a car? Would you take a car?
I just take a handful of vagina. Seems like a good thing to go with.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's gonna be where you're going, so you gotta take it with you.
What do you need with you? I'm just saying.
Hey, so you obviously you rap for a long time. You were already a respected rapper in the game before your biggest hit had come out. When Blow the Whistle came out, did you notice just a shift in like your career and how things were going? What was that like?
Okay, talk to E40, talk to Fat Joe, talk to anybody like LL Cool J. You could even talk to 50 Cent, Ja Rule. Like, talk to artists, Nas, Busta Rhymes, and say, what was it like during this period, that time when this song came out? And if they're like me, they will say, I've actually been through about 3-4 careers already, 3 different phases of my rap career. Like, literally had a whole run. Switched up, ran that way, switched up, and like Blow the Whistle was probably like 3rd, 4th gear. I'm like still, the car's still going, and
Yeah.
And you don't get what I would call my biggest hit record, Blow the Whistle. You don't get that after your 16th album and multiple hits and multiple platinum albums, and then you make your biggest record. It usually comes early in your career. So,
oh my God, I just had a whole. We need to hit up my homegirl, because I just thought about my homegirl who she had this yellow Mustang. Her name's Sasha. Shout out to Sasha. And we used to roll in her car, bumping Blow the Whistle, smoking blunts. Her dad is a huge. Oh my God, we should team up with her. And I'm gonna be like, hey, girl.
Is Sasha rich?
Sasha's dad is he did the movie Blow.
Okay,
he did the movie The Notebook.
This could be your documentary.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like if I hit up
biopic.
Sasha and I'm like, Sasha, remember that day when we were rolling in the car, smoking blunts, bumping Blow? We played Blow the Whistle like 20 times in a row. It had just dropped, not joking. And I was like 14. We're like 14-year-old little white girls in a yellow Mustang smoking blunts, but Blow the Whistle over and over. But I think it's so funny because her and I are both like, we were mega fans of yours. And I'm like, yo, Sasha could be the one. We should team up with her and her dad and make the biopic about your life. Okay. He would be the one.
So Sasha is rich.
Yeah.
It all starts with the rich girl's dad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nepotism in LA. I was not lucky enough, neither of us, we weren't lucky enough to be born into some rich family, but we were lucky enough to find each other, and we help each other out.
our baby's gonna be the nepo baby.
Yes, our baby's gonna be a nepo baby.
There we go. Yeah, I'm totally like open for that. I am actually working with a team of script writers. They do it from beginning to ending. Yep. But they also do TV shows, and we're just developing some too short something.
If there was any white girl character in your life that you need me to play, let me know. I could also like I could play like if I need to, I could be a boy.
You're silly.
I could play an animal. I just am really trying to, expand.
You'll take any role.
I'm really trying to expand my career right now.
Where'd you get the dolphin laugh from?
Dude, I've had it since I was a baby. I'm not joking.
I'd like to see a baby laugh like that.
Well, look at our baby.
Oh my gosh, no.
Your baby has your laugh?
So I'm telling you, it seems like she's trying to imitate me.
Right.
And she goes like this. She goes, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, is that what she thinks I sound like?
She'll get it.
Yeah, no, she's really cute.
But no, your story is really compelling. So you had dropped how many albums before Blow the Whistle came out?
A lot.
Man, I had already had probably 6 platinum albums. One was double platinum and 4 more gold albums.
That's insane.
And I had been on multiple, I can't even count, like dozens of other people's gold and platinum albums. And I could have, before I made Blow the Whistle, before I made Shake That Monkey, I could have just stopped.
Yeah.
And the legacy of Too Short would have been intact. And, you know, I give all the credit to Little John, because Little John, we started working together around 1997-ish, somewhere in there. And I would literally just make these funky records that had a lot of bass that sounded really good in your car system. And I wasn't really giving two fucks about like a dance floor or anything like that. I didn't give a fuck about radio, nothing. I'm just like, oh, the radio wants to play that song, do a clean version. Okay, whatever. Like, I didn't give a fuck. And Little John turned me on to those beats that play in the club. And once I caught the bug, I was probably well into my 30s. I had been rapping when he started putting me on these club songs. Like Be a BS, and then you know, we started with like Couldn't Be a Better Player, and then it was on to, we did quite a few that really weren't big hits, but they were big here and there. They moved around. But when Shake That Monkey came, that was like a real club song, and he gave that to me as a solo, and it really worked. I think those records sound good for a long time because at the time I was signed to Jive Records. And Jive Records was madly in love with Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, Backstreet, and they were just, that was just cash cows for them. And they literally forgot about all the other artists, so they would neglect our releases. It was quite a few artists that were on Jive at that time who just got, you know, it just, if your record didn't come out the gate pop, which most didn't, they was like, we ain't got time for that shit. So I think what happened was the label neglected their songs, Shake That Monkey, and then the next album, Blow the Whistle. And those songs kind of threw me and my relationships and kind of like always doing shows and different promoters. And I would go do trade-offs with radio program directors and get spins for like free shows and shit like that. And I was just working the records, just doing what I do, just for the love of it. And for my own good, because I got a label that quit on me, a major label that won't support me. But the music's out there, so like, let me fucking do it myself. And I talked to E40 a lot, and we were like, man, I'm not finna let this fucking label like just make me irrelevant out here, and just stay active. So, you know, to get a hit record that would be my signature hit at the age of 40, after I signed to a major label when I was 21. I started putting out records like legitimately when I was 18. I was selling tapes in the street when I was 15. Like, this has been my whole life, and then you get this record at the age of 40. I like to think that Blow the Whistle came into my life like a bridge, and it kind of like Shake That Monkey goes with it. I've done so many shows where I would charge you like $7,500. I come in your club, I sing Shake That Monkey, then Blow the Whistle, and I walk out the door. And those songs just did a lot for what happened after.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say after my career, but after I was satisfied, I was cool.
Yeah.
And then here comes this bridge to like, you can go do a fucking club that's 18 and over. I'm in there 47 years old. 18 and over. They loving me. Like, I'm fucking 57 now and I'm still doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just did a fucking show in Eugene, Oregon with a bunch of like Oregon University students. And I'm like, you guys know this shit? Like, so and I'm singing old ass songs. I'm like, I know I made this shit before you were alive.
Yeah.
And they know it. And I'm like,
that's dope.
That's badass.
Yeah. So, Blow the Whistle did that for me. It gave me a whole new career. I know a lot of artists, the majority of artists that were relevant during my young years of the 90s, when I'm like certified, they're not certified anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. And I feel like you are appreciated for it, but I feel like not to the extent you should be.
Well, it's hip hop. We don't like relics.
Well, it's like, well, no, but that's the thing is like music is such a hot today, like gone tomorrow type of business. And you're really one of those like select few that have like legit longevity. I mean, there are people even like a 50 Cent who was the biggest in the game, huge mogul now, like amazing success. But even musically, I feel like you have longevity that's even past
So there's
people
a
like
breakthrough
that.
point in pop culture where you don't have to do anything popular. Like
Right.
you're in the club now.
Right.
I'm pop culture. When I said bitch, what's my favorite word? Bitch.
Yeah.
I'm pop culture. Like that was the one that said, all right, forever and ever, we know this guy. That's the guy that said bitch. Like if that's just that, I'm in the pop culture where I don't have to prove again that I can do it again. Like you gotta, like movie stars have that threshold. Like you can keep making, Robert De Niro can make all the movies he wants, but if he didn't, he's still Robert De Niro. Denzel, you cross that threshold of I don't have to prove it anymore. And hip hop, it's hard to get to that, but some of us have made it. We've made it. You know, there's some of the people I was just naming, the Fat Joes and the E40s and the Nas and the Busta Rhymes. It's an elite few of us that aged, but we didn't age out.
So
Yeah.
is that the secret to longevity, is kind of breaking that wall of now it's more than just like what your recent record was, and it's almost like now whatever I did is now a part of like culture.
Yeah.
We can't read a chapter in a book to tell us what that is because we don't even know what it is. Like, oh, kid, you got it, kid. What is it? We don't know. And I think that pop culture, which is just what the masses agree upon, I think that it just happens, man. It just happens. Like, I don't know what Fat Joe did to always, like, we care when he talks, we care. Like, what Fat Joe said yesterday? He just give us all his fucking opinions.
Yeah.
And we give a fuck. Fat Joe could easily be, shut up, old dude. Like, but we don't see it like that. And, I mean, the same thing goes when I look at a guy like Busta Rhymes, who these guys are all friends of mine. And every time I see Busta on social media, it's very fucking, like, powerful.
Yeah.
And he says this shit, and I'm like, okay, I can't even pass the clip because I got to hear what he's about to say.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. Same thing with E40. He's always like popping the champagne bottles and shit and the wine. And, you know, you see him on social media like at a fucking winery because he got his new line of wines and shit. And like, look at E40 doing it courtside at the hoop game and
Yeah.
shit. And it's like, you know, the OGs. And me, myself, like I do shows not every weekend, but just about every weekend.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, it's a beautiful thing to see who's in the crowd. Like I was invited to a Native American reservation last weekend, and they were, I think I feel like somebody told me it was the Navajos. I didn't really ask a lot of questions because I didn't want to seem like I didn't know what the fuck, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to fill it out, but they were having a 60th celebration, and it was very tribal and very like, you know, just it was cultural. It was them, and I was invited into that shit, and I had a really good time.
So would you say that you've probably performed in front of every demographic of people?
Yes, I have. I don't think I ever did a Quinceanera, but shit.
So that's the next one on the
Which is
list.
surprising.
I've done a full out like.
Actually, no,
What?
maybe that might be the one place where it's a little inappropriate for some of the songs.
Well,
Like,
no, I've done multiple Sweet 16s when MTV had the show. It was a lot of people mimicking the show. Like rich people wanted their kids to have the show experience without
Yeah.
the cameras and without MTV. I've even done one that was on MTV. But yeah, I had a song called Gangsters and Strippers.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a
it's
good
like,
one.
all I fuck with is gangsters and strippers. Like it was just a B-side song I made. I didn't give two shits about it. It was a song I made talking shit like I always talk shit, beat funky, and I did a Sweet 16 back when the song was new. And
I'd love to
the
see a picture of
parents-
the parents turning up to that.
No, the parents said the kids requested one specific song, Gangsters and Strippers.
What'd you say?
So I
You were like-
I get the message from my road manager. I'm like, nah, not that song. They didn't. No, that's the song they want. Are you sure? That's just some random ass song on my album like that. I'm like, nah, not. No, they said the song Gangsta and Strippers. So I'm like asking like 3 or 4 times. Bro, you sure they not talking about a different song? So like, fuck it. I do it. I go to the kids' show, 16th birthday party, and I break out Gangsta and Strippers, and every motherfucker in the party knows every word. So I'm like, okay, that's just a fluke with this little group of these little kids, right? They grab the song, they think it's so funny. I was like, I'm gonna try this at my next show. Motherfucker, these kids turned me on to my own shit that was moving around that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So I started singing at all the shows and everybody knows the words. I'm like, when the fuck did everybody start liking this song? Like, I didn't even know.
No,
I forgot about that, but that's actually an amazing song
there
that I
was
remember.
a song I remember on.
I've had a few songs like that where I didn't know they were hot.
No, like I know this happens with a lot of artists though, because it's happened with me. Like, but I remember I liked this one song of Trina's, and all of me and my girlfriends would bump it all the time. Like, it was like the hottest song on her album. You would never hear it played anywhere. Like, she never performed it. And then I remember I did a song with French when him and Trina were like dating, and I told her I love this song.
I didn't know about that.
She literally was like, yeah, they dated at some point. Sorry, I don't know. Am I blasting things? Okay. But so I told French, I said, I gotta tell Trina what's up. Like, I'm the biggest fan. And I told her I love that song, and she was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like that song? And I'm like, it's so funny how like people, and I'm like, does she not understand? Like, that was the
our
song.
anthem.
Yeah, like that was the anthem for me and my girls in high school. And I'm like, it's so funny that like that was just like an album track to her, and she didn't even know. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the streaming services have probably changed that now, because now you can actually see what your streams are.
I feel like I've been out here a lot of years, known for my laugh, and I'm finally trying to capitalize on it.
You're embracing it, the laugh.
I'm finally embracing the laugh, and
That was just genuinely good conversation
yeah,
too.
that's
I feel
what
like
it's about. I want to only have guests on the show who like know how to just have good fun convo, and I know that we always have good fun convo. So thank you.
It's a shitty episode if you don't do the laugh.
There's not one I don't. Well,
See, it's gonna be one.
there might be. No,
she can't go 10 minutes without it.
No, yeah, because you know what? It's like it could be a non-funny person, and it could be just like, to me, I just find humor in everything. You know what I mean?
my
So,
God.
so anyways,
Well, Too
thank
Short.
you.
Thank you for coming on
Thank you,
today.
guys.
Amazing
Yes.
guest. Everybody, you got to go see the movie Freaky Tales. I'm excited
Yeah.
to see it. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
it looks lit.
Dope movie.
And we should talk. We should make a. I got ideas.
A country blues song.
Yes, let's do
Hell,
it.
You
Just
got the
know
voice
that
for it.
I can't write love lyrics. So
Okay.
It's got to be about something else.
I can help with the
Gotta
love.
be like about a pickup truck or some shit or something. You know, like a pickup truck and a dog or something. You know.
Yeah,
All right, Too Short, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yes.
Thank you.
the greatest Bay Area legend.
Song about a rainy day or
West
something. Something I can
Coast.
relate to.
I like that.
Good one. All right, we'll
peace
see y'all
out.
later.